What's happening, people? Now, in today's video, I'm going to uncover one toxic habit that will instantly crush your influence in any conversation and what to do about it so you can build meaningful relationships that matter in the world of business. So without further wait, let's get into it. Before I tell you what that habit is, check this out, okay? Referencing a study by psychologist Wendy Wood, the New Yorker reports that our actions are habitual 43% of the time. But here's the crazy thing, man. If a proportion of our actions are habitual, or rather have become habitual, then are there any habits which are secretly sabotaging our conversations, and what can we do about it? The one toxic habit that we're going to unpack today is our tendency to consistently interrupt other people. Now, listen, whether you're a leader speaking to a direct report, an entrepreneur communicating with their business partner, or a salesperson delivering a demo to a prospect, I'm talking about you finishing somebody's sentence for them. I'm talking about you starting your sentence before somebody's finished theirs. And this is the worst. I'm talking about you interjecting somebody's flow with your unsolicited opinion, advice, or perspective. Interestingly, before this video, I decided to map out all the different teams, leaders, and entrepreneurs that I've partnered with in the past and which individuals amongst this group specifically struggled with consistently interrupting others. And I started to analyze their root cause from my perspective, not their perspective, my perspective. And I whittled it down to 5 common patterns. Number 1 was nerves. Number 2 was excitement. Number 3 was ego. And hey, let's not hate, man. Ego stands for everybody's got one, as somebody once taught me, right? So let's not hate there. The 4th one is a lack of presence in a conversation due to high mental chatter. The 5th one is the most interesting. An internal story which triggers external behavior. Here's what I'm talking about. Let's spend some time with this 5th one because I think it's fascinating. Let's say if somebody tells himself a story of, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. And as a result, they engage in behavior such as interrupting others in a conversation to fill that void. Here's what I'm talking about. If you and I are hanging out and I'm consistently interjecting the flow of conversation, if I'm finishing your sentences, if I'm giving you unsolicited feedback and perspective, and I'm constantly dominating as much of that conversation as humanly possible, maybe, just maybe, I am seeking your validation. Maybe I just want to feel seen, heard, and understood. And my way of achieving that is through this toxic habit of consistent interruption versus actually sitting back, being comfortable in my own skin and listening. You feel me? You see the two now? Now, here's why I'm telling you this. I want to invite you to ask yourself the following question. What is the root cause of my habit of consistently interrupting others? Sit down, create some spaciousness in your calendar, get in solitude, and ask yourself that question. But listen, you got to be real with yourself. Because you could just say, yeah, it's nerves. Cool, but then let's go deeper than that. What's behind the nerves? Cool, then let's go deeper than that. Let's keep going deep until we get to the root cause. Because in a minute or two, I'm going to give you a quick 3-step process for what to say when you do consistently interrupt others and you catch yourself. But if you just run with that, yeah, you may see some success in developing rapport in conversations, but it will be short-lived because you won't have created true behavioral change. I want you to get to the root cause, meaning I want you to do the inner work, and that's hard. Okay, so let's go deep. Let's not keep it surface level, and let's not just put a plaster over the issue. The truth is, we're human beings, man. We're not robots, and we're going to have imperfect moments, and we are going to interrupt another human being at some point in the future. But the difference is when something is a one-off behavior versus a consistent habit, right? That we're engaging in autopilot. So let's assume you now understand the root cause of your habit and you're finding yourself engaging in it less and less, and you're finally breaking it. But you're at a networking event, you're feeling nervous, and you bump into Sally, an old colleague, but you just can't stop interrupting her throughout the conversation. So you could say, Sally, thank you so much for your patience with me consistently interrupting you throughout our entire conversation. I'll be real with you. I'm honestly feeling so nervous coming into this networking event today because I haven't actually been to one since the world opened up after COVID. Would you be cool with us hitting the reset button and starting all over again? Very simple. 3 simple steps. Okay, number 1, acknowledge the imperfection. Acknowledge the imperfection. And notice how I said, thank you for your patience versus I'm sorry. Maybe that moment didn't warrant a sorry. So we want to ensure that when you do say sorry, it actually carries weight. In this moment, it may be better to say, thank you for your patience. A very subtle shift. Step 2, lead with vulnerability. For example, I mentioned me feeling nervous about not having been to a networking event since the world opened up post-COVID. And in step 3, hit the reset button. Now, what I did there was simply ask a question, which ultimately requested permission to start again. Now, when you do this right and you execute this with context, not only will it increase rapport versus break it, but it will build trust with the human being you're trying to connect with. And hey, for me, I don't know about you, but trust is the single most important thing for building relationship currency. The punchline is this, people. Okay, we are human beings and we're going to have imperfect moments. And one of those imperfect moments in a conversation might be interrupting the person you're trying to connect with. But there's a difference between engaging in that as a one-off behavior versus engaging in it consistently so it transforms into a habit unknowingly, and then it knowingly sabotages your reputation. That sucks. You feel me? I don't want that for you. And hey, speaking of habits, the next destination for you, my friend, is this video over here because it will teach you one subtle yet simple habit for boosting your charisma so you can build trust in the relationships that you care about. So hey, I'll see you on the other side. Peace.